What's going on, good people? I hope everybody is having a great day. I hope you all are blessed and highly favored, which I know you are, because you're still walking, talking, and breathing. And you're able to look at this video. So that right there alone is a miracle and should let you know that you are blessed. So blessings. But this video right here is for a lot of my educators, counselors, teachers, whoever, for the staff that work with at-risk youth. And I decided to make this video because a lot of people know what I do. They know I work with at-risk youth, and they know I build programs for at-risk youth. And a lot of times people come up to ask me and say, hey, I want to start this program, and or I want to work with at-risk youth, this, that, and other. And oftentimes I have to discern why. Why do you want to work with at-risk youth? Because there's a lot of people and there's a lot of organizations and there's a lot of companies out there that want to start these nonprofits and things working with youth, but they only want to do it because it brings in some money, or, they'll give out lunches or they'll give out shoes and things like that, which is nothing wrong with that. But how effective do you want to be? And, so I'll spend time with people that, say they want to start their own youth organization. And there are times that I won't even feel safe around the person that wants to start the organization. Now, here I am. I'm a cat from the hood. I don't know my father. I have been beaten as a child. I was locked in basements. Me and my brother were starved. We was in domestic violence shelters. We stayed in homeless shelters. The hood life. We had the whole experience of the hood life growing up pretty much our whole life, right? And so I know what it is to be one of those kids. I know what it is to be a cat from the hood and not feel safe. When I was working at the juvenile prison, there was a psychologist there, and he would always come and get me. And he would say, can you talk to this kid and tell me what they say? Because I'm trying to break through to him and he won't talk to me. Can you talk to him for me? And sometimes I would say no. And I had to tell him, I said, man, if this kid does not talk to you, it is because you have not made that kid feel safe. When kids come from these traumatized environments and things like that, they are judged a lot. They hear the stuff on TV, especially when they're talking about we're going to be tough on crime and yada, yada, yada. They know exactly who people are talking about. You have to be a safe place for these kids to come. You as a person has to be a safe place. There was a kid in a juvenile facility, right? His name, not his name, but wow, I almost did that. Who tried to hang himself, right? And so he had to go on suicide watch. And when I first got to TJJD, I was a correctional officer before I became a case manager. And so when you go on suicide watch, you have to put on this weighted green vest, right? And you can't close your door. And somebody has to sit on you 24 hours. So I would come in and do the night shift. I work from 10 at night to 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And I would sit on this kid. And for the first week or so, we never even talked. I would look at him. He would sit back, way far back in the cell. And he would be doing whatever he's doing. And he wouldn't talk. And, he's supposed to be in the bed. But, of course, he wasn't. But he would just do what he do, and I would just sit there and read my Bible. And I could tell that he started wanting to know what was I reading, because some of the stuff I would make little marks that's good, and I could tell he wanna talk, he wanna say something, but I'm not saying that to him. And so finally he started getting closer and closer to me, and then opened up and said, "Sir, what you reading?" I say, "I'm reading that word, man." I say, "You ever read the Bible before?" He say, "Nah, I don't understand it. I tried to, but I don't understand it." I say, "Yeah." I say, "Well, you want me to read it to you?" And he said, "Yeah, that's cool." So I would start reading the Bible to him. And then the stuff, he would ask questions like, "What did that mean?" And I would start to explain the Bible to him and read to him. And then that right there opened up a space for him to get to know me to get to know him. We're talking about life. I'm telling my story, this, that, and other. And then, and so we really got to know each other. And then there was one day that he asked me to lead him to the Lord and to, help him give his life to Christ. And so we did the prayer and everything, and I led him to Christ. And time goes on, and I'm no longer sitting on this kid, this, another, and just time passes, right? So this kid gets in trouble one day on his dorm. I'm on a completely another unit at this point. He gets in trouble one day, and he goes to security, and one of the transporters, the guy that shackled the kids up and take them to the security unit, he came and got me and said, "Hey man, such and such is requesting to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." So I go over to security, had them open up his cell, and I go in there, "Hey, what's going on, man?" And I talked to him, and he just sat there, and we sitting on the bed together. And we sitting side by side each other. He had done something to get in trouble. I don't know if it was a fight, started a riot, hit one of the staff, whatever it was. I don't know. I can't remember. But the part that I do remember is that I could tell he was just frustrated. He was just swelling up, and he had the tears packing at the bottom of his eyes, and all of a sudden he just broke down and cried, just cried, and I hugged him, and I just held him, in my arms like a father would hold a son. And he cried, and he couldn't talk. He wouldn't say nothing. And then finally, about 10, 15 minutes later, he was after his soul had washed, had cleansed itself. After he got it out, he was like, man, his grandfather had passed away. And of course, they wouldn't let him leave the campus and go to the funeral. So of course, he acted out at the facility, and he ended up in security. And but he was able to get that out, and he asked for me. Those are the moments when you know that you have become a safe place for kids, when they can cry, when they want to talk to you, when you're the place or the person that they can talk to get it out, because you understand, you're able to give them wise counsel. You built that relationship with them. If you have not done that, you are not a safe place for these kids. You have to make yourself, your person, you have to become a safe place first. If you have if your culture has a safe place type of feel to it, your kids will begin to open up and tell you things that they wouldn't normally tell anybody else. So you as a person have to become it first. If this teacher, if that teacher, if you as a person become an administrator first, become a safe place first, and your staff and the people in your environment, in your building, in your school, in your whatever, if everybody becomes a safe place, the whole culture becomes a safe place. Kids will love coming to school then. They won't necessarily love coming to school, but you won't really have any problems out of them because they'll respect you enough to say, nah, I'm not gonna act out because this teacher right here, I love this teacher. There was times, man, listen, I'm on a 16 to 18-year-old unit, right? And we in Corsicana. Now, Corsicana was a residential treatment center. So the kids that had the schizophrenia, the bipolar, the ODD, and the ADHD out of it, this facility was where they put all of those kids at, because they were extremely violent and they were extremely suicidal and things like that. And you didn't know when they was going to act out. So it's a very tough facility to work in. If you if you've never really worked in these environments, it's a very, very tough facility to work in, because the kids just they go. And so I'm the senior case manager over the 16 to 18-year-old unit. So I got 16 to 18-year-old kids. Nobody really wanted to work on this unit because these are boys. They're huge. They're 6'2", 6'3", blah, 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 blah. They definitely didn't want to put too many females over there because of the aggressive nature and the hormones and all that kind of stuff of the boys. So nobody really wanted to take this on. But I'm telling you, man, I went over to this unit and I had pretty much no fights or anything in my unit while I was there. Now, it was one time I left and I went home, and the night crew came in. And I came back the next day, and all of the unit was in security. And they walk in and say, "Hey man, Mr. Robson, unit such and such, they all in security." I'm like, "Wow, like, what happened?" And so I go to talk to the kids, and what happened was they had all they so in the cells in that facility, if you hit the ceiling or if you hit the vent on the ceiling, dust comes out of it. And they had all plotted to hit the vents all at the same time, make the dust come out, make the sprinklers go off. And when the sprinklers go off, the doors would open. And so, because, safety hazard. And so there was a staff that these kids just did not like. They didn't mix and mingle. The staff didn't understand them. The staff would bring their problems into the facility all the time and be taking it out on the kids, their own problems that they got at home with their own family and children or bills, whatever it was. They came in with an attitude all the time, and there wasn't a love, there wasn't a care, there wasn't a nurture, there wasn't a, that stuff there. It was just, get in your cell, sit down, do this, do that. It was just the rules all the time, right? And so they did not like this staff member. And so they all hit the vent and the doors open and they all rushed out. And I mean, it freaked this dude out. He ran out. He was crying. He thought the kids was going to attack him, this, that, and the other. And I mean, he was terrified. And so they put all the kids in security. I asked the kids, "Man, what y'all do that for?" They said, "Man, Mr. Rob," they called me Mr. Robbo. Mr. Robbo, they just, man, this person was getting on our nerves and this, that, and that. I said, man, I went to one of the guys that I was really close with, one of the kids. I said, "Man, why you didn't tell me about this? What that y'all was plotting this?" He said, "Man, Mr. Robinson, because if we'd have told you, you would have stopped us. And so that's why we waited till you left, because we definitely didn't want to do it on your shift because we ain't got no problem with you, man. We cool with you. But if we had told you, then you would have talked to us and you would have stopped us from doing it." In one sense, I was like, you know what? Don't ever do that again. Horrible decision. Horrible decision. Now I got to do all the paperwork. I got to write you up. I got to put the infraction in your files. You definitely stand in security for a couple of days, this, that, and other. But when we get back on the unit, we all going to talk about this. And I went around to each cell and talked to the kids and this, that, and other, and talked to them about the error of their ways. But when I left there, I went back to my office and reflected on what the young guy said. He said, "Man, Mr. Robbo," he said, if we had told you this, you would have talked to us and you would have stopped us." And he also said that we didn't want to do it on your shift. Now, these are kids that are diagnosed with these things that, make them uncontrollable or they just acting out. We really got to start looking at this stuff because they controlled themselves when I was there. They wouldn't do it on my shift. And he said, if you had talked to us, you would have stopped us from doing it because they respect me that much, and I would have. I don't do that. And listen, when I get back here, I want to know that every last one of y'all have followed the rules and directions. Don't do that. And if they told me, "Yes, sir," yeah, they would have done it because there is a certain loyalty to somebody when that person is their safe place. There's a certain respect. There's a certain, they just respect you. Become a safe place to these kids. Let them know that you care and that you are interested in understanding who they are, understanding where they come from. I know that we have rules, but if you just, the rules, or you mad at kids, they know it, they understand it. And if you try to give them a hard time, they're going to give you a hard time. And a lot of times I've seen educators put themselves in kids' positions and arguing back and forth with these kids. Man, listen, I'm telling you, the kids got the upper hand on a lot of this stuff. You don't want to be going home frustrated. You know what I mean? There was plenty of times where a lot of staff at the juvenile facility, they would go home less frustrated. They hated their job. They didn't want to do it no more, this, that, and other. And that's because you spend it all day bucking with the kids. Well, they going to buck back. You know what I mean? Or they may cuss you out, or they may hurt your feelings. So, they'll talk about you in the worst ways. If you're heavy set, they'll call you out your name. You fat B and all this kind of stuff, man. And that stuff it did get you, long as, it did get you. So become a safe place. Make sure that your environment is a safe place for kids to land and get their emotions out, because a lot of times they'll be at home or they'll go, they got a lot of stuff going on in these houses, man. Whether they domestic violence or whatever it is, a lot of these home situations are not, and you guys know that. So when they come to school or when they come to you or your mentoring organization or whatever it is, make it a safe place. Make it a safe place for these kids to land, where they can come to, where you can help clear them up and meet those Maslow's hierarchy of needs and all this stuff. And then you can open them up to receive education. You can open them up to say, all right, I'm willing to learn because this person is helping me out and I trust this person. It's all about trust. Trust is a hard thing to come by when you come from environments where trust wasn't built. You know what I mean? So, and teachers and schools and stuff already got these stigmas on them. So the kids they're not going to naturally trust you as a teacher or administrator. So, become a safe place. All right. Thank you guys. Love you. Please subscribe to this channel. Please, please, please. I want to keep doing this. I think this is, it's fun for me, for one. And I think it's much needed right now. So please subscribe. Please send this stuff out to other teachers, other people or family members or parents or whoever is dealing with kids or at-risk youth. Please subscribe and send these videos out so, I can make some money off of it. You know what I mean? All right. Hey, love you guys. Have a good one, man. Bye.